The Wells family are preparing to make Forest Lodge in Windsor their permanent home by the end of the year.
Makes a jaw-dropping entrance at a state dinner, rocking the biggest tiara she's ever worn.
Adorable new addition to their family, which also includes kids, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Welcome to the family, Otto. One today.
Kate Middleton and King Charles III both announced their cancer diagnoses.
Holiday card featuring their 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis on December.
Progressing in the right way, which is all good news. As for if she's in remission, he says, yes, she is.
The royal couple celebrates their 15th wedding anniversary by sharing a new photo with their kids, Prince George.
Surprise appearance alongside the Princess of Wales performing a heartwarming mother-daughter duet.
Today, it boasts 8 bedrooms, a ballroom, marble fireplaces, and chandeliers.
Princess of Wales sported Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara for the state visit of United States President Donald Trump and
The family's least favorite chore, cleaning up their guinea pig's cage. As the Telegraph's Victoria
Revealed she is in remission following a year of chemotherapy treatment for an undisclosed form of cancer.
The country, who are working to foster togetherness, shining a spotlight on the power of human connection. The post caption includes a red balloon emoji and the words, "Happy Birthday, Louis."
On April 29, 2011, 2 billion people watched Catherine Middleton walk down the aisle of Westminster Abbey. They saw the dress. They saw the smile. They saw a future queen. But 9 years earlier, in a small grey town on the Scottish coast, a 20-year-old prince paid £200 for a front row seat at a student charity fashion show. He wasn't there for charity. He was there because of a girl he already knew, a girl the rest of the world hadn't noticed yet. And what happened on that catwalk in March 2002 would change the British monarchy forever. Because William didn't fall for the woman the world would later celebrate. He fell for someone the world hadn't met. And the story of what he saw in her, years before anyone else did, is one of the most quietly remarkable stories the royal family has ever produced. If you want more deep dives like this, make sure to subscribe to Royal Archives. To understand what William saw, you have to go back to September 2001. St. Andrews, a windswept university town on the edge of the North Sea, William arrived as the most famous student on Earth. Applications to the university had jumped by more than 40% the moment his enrollment was announced. Buckingham Palace had struck a rare deal with the British press. 1 photo call on arrival, then privacy for 4 years. It worked. And inside that protected bubble, something ordinary was allowed to happen. William moved into St. Salvator's Hall. A few doors away lived a girl from Berkshire named Catherine Middleton. Both had taken gap years. Both had enrolled in the same course, History of Art. They ate in the same dining hall. They passed each other on the same staircases. Years later, in their 2010 engagement interview, Catherine described that first meeting in her own words. She said she went bright red and scuttled off, feeling very shy. That was it. No fireworks, no fairy tale. A blushing 19-year-old and a prince who, by every account, barely registered the moment. The world would have called them friends. And for a while, that's exactly what they were. But William's first year was harder than the public ever knew. Away from the cameras, the future king struggled. He was homesick. He doubted his course. At one point, he seriously considered leaving St. Andrews altogether, a decision that would have rewritten royal history. He stayed. He switched his degree to geography and settled in. And according to accounts from friends published over the years, one of the voices that encouraged him to stay belonged to Catherine, the girl down the hall who told him to give Scotland a real chance. There was an odd symmetry to that friendship even before it began. During their gap years, both had traveled to Chile with the same expedition program, Raleigh International, missing each other by a matter of weeks. Same country, same camps, same muddy boots. They had been circling each other's lives before either knew the other existed, and the friendship with the quiet girl from his hall deepened through that difficult winter. Then came March 2002, a student charity fashion show at the St. Andrews Bay Hotel. William paid £200 for a seat in the front row. Catherine walked the runway in a sheer dress designed by a fellow student, a dress that years later would sell at auction for £78,000. The moment has become royal legend. The Crown recreated it. Friends from that night have described how differently William looked at her afterward. But here's the detail most people miss. When William made his feelings known at the after party, Catherine turned him down. She was seeing someone else. The future King of England, the most eligible man on the planet, was told no, and she meant it. Months passed before circumstances changed and she was willing to give him a chance. That refusal tells you something. She was never chasing a crown. And this is where the real answer begins. Because what William saw in Catherine was never really about a catwalk. As Russell Myers documented in his 2026 book, William and Catherine, the first joint biography of the couple in more than a decade, the two were opposites in temperament from the start. William carried the weight of his childhood. The divorce of his parents played out on every front page, the loss of his mother at 15, a life where privacy was something other people had. Catherine carried none of that. She came from a close, steady, unfamous family. Michael and Carol Middleton had built their life themselves, and their home in Bucklebury ran on something William had rarely experienced. Routine. Sunday lunches. Chugarito 11:48 a.m., 0 minutes ago, to me board games. A kitchen where nobody bowed, and where the future king could load a dishwasher without it making the morning papers. Carol, a former flight attendant who had built a thriving party supplies business from her kitchen table, ran a household where effort was ordinary and affection was constant. When William began spending time with the Middletons, friends noticed how much he relaxed there. Myers, drawing on palace insiders, describes Catherine as the rock William leaned on from the earliest days, the calm presence against his restlessness. His book paints them as a study in contrast. William instinctive and quick to react, shaped by a childhood where the worst could arrive in tomorrow's paper. Catherine methodical, patient, almost unshakable. Where another partner might have been dazzled by the palaces, she was quietly unimpressed by all of it. And friends from St. Andrews have said that was precisely the point. She treated him like a person, not a headline, not a future king, a slightly lost 20-year-old who needed someone in his corner. In their second year, the two moved into a shared student house on Hope Street with friends, and the relationship grew in almost total secrecy. The press deal held. No photographers, no headlines. For their final year, they moved again to a cottage outside town, living a version of domestic life no heir to the throne had ever been allowed before marriage. Just a prince discovering that the thing he wanted most was the thing his title had always denied him, an ordinary love with an extraordinarily steady woman at the center of it. But steadiness, on its own, doesn't make a queen. What happened in 2007 proved Catherine was something more. That spring, after nearly 4 years together, William ended the relationship. He was a young army officer at Sandhurst, surrounded by a new world of fellow cadets and voices telling him he was too young to be tied down. The phone call that ended it, by several accounts, was brief and clumsy. The split made front pages around the world within hours, and this is the chapter where Russell Myers' book changes what we thought we knew. According to Myers, Catherine did not simply wait by the phone. She delivered what he describes as an ultimatum, not a demand for a ring, but a refusal to drift. Myers writes that she broke free from the gentle, almost deferential role that had defined her side of the relationship until then. She went out with her sister, Pippa. She joined an all-female rowing crew training to cross the English Channel. She was photographed leaving London nightclubs composed and smiling, looking every bit a woman who had decided her life would not pause for a prince. It was not a performance of heartbreak. It was the opposite. And William noticed. Then came something even more remarkable. Myers reports that the Queen herself played a quiet role in bringing the couple back together. The same monarch the public saw as distant from matters of the heart was, behind palace walls, paying close attention to the girl from Berkshire. The reconciliation finally took hold at a fancy dress party thrown by their friend Sam Whaley-Cohen, the jockey who would later win the Grand National. Myers told Fox News that the night changed everything, the moment both of them realized they could not live without each other. The breakup had asked a question. Catherine's answer made her future. Step back, and the pattern becomes clear. Every royal bride before her had been handed to the institution, young and largely untested, and too often swallowed by it or broken by the press. Diana had been 20 when she married, barely out of girlhood, with weeks of real acquaintance behind her. Catherine was the first in generations to be tested for nearly a decade before a ring ever appeared, and the first to pass entirely on her own terms. She had seen the machine up close. She had watched what it did to the family she was marrying into. And she walked toward it anyway, with her eyes open, which is its own kind of courage. Even the University of St. Andrews seemed to understand what had happened there. At the couple's 2005 graduation, a ceremony attended by the Queen herself, the university's vice-chancellor told the assembled students that they may have met their husband or wife during their years in the town. The hall laughed. Two of the graduates in red gowns knew exactly who he meant. By the time the world finally caught up, William had spent 8 years watching Catherine handle pressure that would have crushed almost anyone. Photographers outside her London flat, headlines mocking her family, years of public speculation she never once answered. She simply held. The engagement came in November 2010 on a private trip to a remote cabin in Kenya, beside a lake at the foot of Mount Kenya. William had carried his mother's ring in his rucksack for 3 weeks of the trip, terrified by his own admission of losing it, and his choice of that ring told the world what this relationship had always been about. He gave Catherine Diana's sapphire, and in the engagement interview that followed, he explained it plainly. It was his way of making sure his mother didn't miss out on the day and the excitement. The boy who had lost Diana at 15 had found in Catherine the one person he trusted to carry her ring. The wedding followed in April 2011, watched by an estimated 2 billion people across the globe. But the deepest proof of what William saw came 13 years later, in March 2024, when Catherine announced her cancer diagnosis to the world in a video message she chose to deliver herself, sitting alone on a bench, calm, direct, and thinking first of how to explain it to her 3 children in a way they could understand. The woman William had once watched steady a homesick student in Scotland now steadied an entire nation. And William's devotion through that year was visible in every appearance. The protective hand at her back, the lighter public schedule, the repeated insistence that her recovery came before any duty of state. The qualities he had seen at 19 in a dining hall in St. Andrews were finally visible to everyone on earth. He had simply seen them first. So, what did William see in Catherine before the world did? He saw a woman who said no to a prince because she was loyal to someone else. He saw calm where his own life had only ever known chaos. He saw a family that worked, and a girl strong enough to walk away when walking away was the only honest move left. The world needed 20 years and a crisis to see it. William needed 1 Scottish winter, and the story is far from finished, because the throne Catherine was tested for is now closer than ever, and the partnership forged in that small gray town will soon define the next era of the monarchy itself. What William saw at St. Andrews, Britain will live under for decades to come. If you found this story as remarkable as we did, subscribe to Royal Archives Counseling Nanny Kerwin, because the private moments that shaped this couple are still coming to light and will be here for every one of them.